We're excited to tell you about timeless selection, which is the newest feature we just added to Starcaller. If you're not already familiar with Starcaller, check out the video that I linked in the description for a quick overview. God Mode was already a great tool for quickly filtering through many official matches and finding trends in how your opponents play. However, timeless selection is a method that will unlock even more possibilities for how you want to analyze demos. God Mode is perfect for honing in on a very specific situation. Say I want to look at all the times where a bit has ventured into connector throughout the round. So this is great if I want to know all of the rounds where a bit was in connector with 1:15 on the clock. However, there are probably situations where you want to look at just the entire round. So this is why we introduced timeless. With the timeless selection tools, you can search through any part of the round using this time slider, so you can hone in on any window or you can just look at the entire round. So say we want to answer our question from before of what happens when bit goes into connector. We can filter for bit and make sure we're selecting the player's enter event. And then if we enter this timeless selection, anytime bit crosses this threshold, it'll show up as one of the filtered rounds. So now you can see that all of these rounds that are left over, there's 12 of them, bit wanders into connector at some point in the round. So you can watch these all back and you can filter, you can even watch what somebody else does in these rounds where bit goes into connector. So maybe we're curious how electronic plays in those rounds. But it might be a little bit confusing in some situations to watch them back all out of sync like this. Maybe we're interested in watching how a team reacts to a specific action occurring on the map. So this is what the Synchronize Rounds button is for. Let's say we want to look at all of the full buy versus full buy rounds in the last 2 months where Navi smokes bottom banana. So this can easily be accomplished with the timeless selection. We'll just pick the add tool and we'll select the area at the bottom of banana and we'll select smokes here. So once we lock in smokes, it'll show us a little preview of all the smokes it can look at. And if you find that there's a couple on the fringes that you want to add in and make sure they're in there, you can modify the boundaries of this selection just by clicking and dragging. You can also move it around completely if you want to. So I'll make sure this selection catches all of the smokes that land at bottom banana. And now I have one more option. So I can either synchronize the rounds or I can have the rounds play back unsynchronized. If sync rounds is off, then they'll just play back starting from 1:55 on the clock and all the way through the round. If we choose to synchronize, however, all of the round playbacks will be synchronized such that when this smoke blooms will be the same exact time code on the playback. So I'll show you how that works. If we lock in that selection, you can see this gets 15 rounds here from this subset where Navi smoked bottom banana. And we have this new icon here on the playback bar, which is where all of the smokes we just filtered for are synchronized in the playback. So the playback's a little messy since there's lots of utility in banana, but if we focus on smokes here, you can see that the smokes start coming in and they all bloom at the exact same time right on this sync icon here. So now you can watch before and after they throw these smokes and see how the team's reacting. If you want to focus on player positioning, you can highlight that. You can highlight individual players, of course, to see how they're playing and who might be throwing these smokes. But like I said, this is banana, so there's lots of utility here. It's really hectic at the start of the round. So what if we want to get even more specific with the subset of rounds that we're looking at? Well, we can always add another timeless selection here. So let's say I care about all of the rounds where Navi smokes bottom banana, but doesn't push it. So this is where I can use the exclude method. So I can draw any number of boxes on timeless here. So I'm just going to make a exclude box. So this will cut out anything that matches the criteria from our selection. And on this one, for the event, I'm going to select players. So now anytime a player walks into this red box, it'll be excluded. And just to walk you through the order operations here, first we're down selecting from the full data set to only the rounds where they've smoked bottom banana. And now, from that set of 15 rounds we're going to exclude any round where a Navi player pushes into this box. And right now, we're just letting it catch all players at any time, but you can obviously refine this so that it's for a specific player, a specific time code. So now, you might notice the Synchronize Rounds button is grayed out if you have one of these exclude boxes selected. This is because you can't synchronize on something that doesn't happen, right? So you have to synchronize on something that does happen. So if we want to play this back synced, just reselect one of our include boxes and you can have the synchronize based on when these smokes pop still. So I'll lock that in, and you can see we had 15 rounds before. That's dropped down to 9. So basically, we just excluded 6 rounds where a Na'vi player pushed past half wall. And you can confirm this by scrubbing through. Once again, there's a lot of utility there, so maybe we want to focus in on players. And if you scrub through, you can see these players never push past half wall there, so banana stays nice and clear. But there is a smoke up at bottom banana in each of these rounds. So now you can basically watch maybe what they do on the A side, or if there's some interesting tendency that gives up that, hey, there's a smoke, but there's probably nobody behind it in banana. 9 rounds is still quite a bit, right? So what if we want to get a little more narrowed in? Let's go back to timeless selection, and what I'm going to do here is set up a filter such that they're smoking bottom banana and specifically bit is pushing into banana. So for this one, instead of excluding pushes, I'll just go ahead and delete that with the delete key. So we'll keep this filter up for smoking bottom banana. And if the goal is to select from these rounds the ones where bit pushes banana, you might be tempted to use another add box. So let me show you what would happen if you do that. I can draw an add box in this zone past half wall here, and I can highlight bit. So what this would be doing is it'll first take all of the rounds in our filters, and then we're saying, okay, any round where they smoke bottom banana, add that into my filter selection. And then this second box where we're highlighting the player's event and highlighting bit, this is not actually saying from these rounds, select the rounds where bit pushes. This is saying from any round in our filter set, select the round where bit pushes. So this will get both rounds where they smoke bottom banana and rounds where bit pushes banana. It doesn't get rounds where both of these criteria are true. And let me actually show you the number there. So that actually selects a full 15 rounds, right? So it selects all the rounds where they smoke bottom banana and all the rounds where bit pushes. But that's not necessarily what we're going for. We're looking for the rounds where both bit pushes banana and they smoke bottom banana. So to do that, we're actually going to use the refine selection method. What the refine selection does is it takes any existing filters and it says from the rounds we've already found with these filters, let's add an additional condition. So now we'll add the additional condition that bit has to push banana. And, we can resize this so that it catches the zones we want. We want it to catch all the smokes, and we want bit to be anywhere in banana down here. So now let's synchronize on when bit pushes banana. You can see that when we use the refine selection method there, now we only have 3 rounds selected instead of 15. And each of these rounds will be rounds where they smoke bottom banana and bit pushes. So you can see these filters have done exactly the job that we wanted them to do. And now we have a really refined round set, so we can, maybe see what the other players do when bit's in banana, or take any analysis from that. You guys are the experts, so I'm confident you'll be able to employ these tools for really specific situations and get some good reads on your opponents. But I just wanted to make sure you knew how they could be used. If you have any questions on how to use these timeless selection tools, make sure to let us know, and if you have any feedback for how we could make them better, we'd love to hear it. And good luck preparing for your next matches.